Hey family, how you guys doing? I'm your niche coach, Alicia Lester, and today on Get Your Shit Together, we are going to talk about being shaped by our past. Okay? So last week I kind of started this thing with these little balls that I have. My husband is a mental health therapist, so sometimes I steal some of his stuff just to give me some good things to talk about. Now, of course, I'm not a mental health therapist yet, but a conversation is a conversation, especially a good one. And so there are some things that that we just deal with in our everyday life that we need to raise awareness about, and we kind of don't. So this ball is it's a conversation piece. Honestly, we use it in our home. We use a lot of them. There's a few of them. This one is being shaped by our past. Have coping with stress. We have just a couple different ones. There's about 6 or 7 different ones. So I love these. So today we're going to do a Q&A. So of course I can't throw the ball back to you. So it gives you guys the opportunity to just get all up in my little business, right? But there's always a lesson in a lot of things that I say. I tell everybody, being a life coach, I coach the 3 P's, and that is the person, the professional, and the parent. And I do those things because those are 3 areas that I specialize in because of personal experience. Of course, I'm a person, and I've gone through many things in life, multiple businesses. I enjoy being a multi-business owner. I enjoy having property. I enjoy real estate and things like that. But I also enjoy being able to let people know what leads you to that point, what catapults you to that level, and that level isn't always as pretty as people think it is. So I definitely coach the parent. I mean, the person, the parent. I enjoy bridging the gaps between parents and their children, trying to help them understand a better and effective way, more effective way to parent them. And also as a parents, be good listeners to your children, and children being better and amazing children for your parents. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Mom and dad isn't always right. The kid isn't always right. So let's try to figure out what we need to do in the meantime, or in the middle, to meet in the middle, and to have to build great relationships. And the professional, like I said, having businesses and things like that, I completely understand what that is like and what that entails. And so I always try to get people to kind of see themselves through both the owner's eyes and as an employee. So never be so caught up in being a boss that you forget what your employees have to go through to produce what you need them to produce for you daily. So, that's just me though. So today we're going to talk about things being shaped by our past. So what this does is, when I toss it up, whatever my thumb lands on, that is the question that I have to answer for you guys. I'm going to say the question, and then I'm going to answer for you guys. While I'm doing this, instead of just watching, click subscribe. Let's do that first. So go ahead and click subscribe. But instead of just watching, I want you to ask yourself the question as well, and answer it to the best of your ability. Child, no judgment here. I can't even hear what your question or what your answer is going to be. But I want you to really, really think about it as I am going through this with you guys. So let's see. Okay. A stressful experience that you've lived through. I'm going to say it again. A stressful experience that you've lived through. For me, I just lost my mom in June due to COVID. So I can honestly say that was a very, very stressful thing for me. Before that, I would have to say being a mother at 15. Being a mother at 15 was a very stressful time in my young life because I was still a kid myself. So there were some things about life and love and living and understanding that I just hadn't gained yet because I was still a child. So it was very, very tough for me being a child while raising a child. So yeah, very stressful. I want you guys to also think about a time that was very stressful for you. What did that time look like? And, we'll come back later and see like how you overcame it, how I overcame it, all of those things. But right now we're asking the questions. The hardest choice you had to make. The hardest choice I had to make. The hardest choice. accepting the pregnancy at 15, and then dropping out of school. So I had to accept the pregnancy because I could not abort the child. I was too far along, but it was definitely a thought. I'm being transparent and being very honest. So accepting the pregnancy and having to drop out of school because of my own embarrassment. I was embarrassed. So that was a very, very hard time for me. So I want you guys to think of a time that was very, very hard for you and what that time looked like and how you were able to overcome that hard time, that hardship, or just whatever that looked like to you. My hard may not be your hard. So whatever that looked like to you, I want you to think about that also. Something you've always wanted to do but haven't. Open a shelter for women and children. I definitely want to do that. Being from Omaha, Nebraska, it gets very, very cold in the winter time. And so a lot of what myself and my son would do is we would take our old clothes and coats and blankets and things like that, and we would take them to the open door mission. And sometimes you would see a mother and a child standing outside because there were no more beds available. And there were no more beds available, you know, in the middle of 0-degree weather. And that was something that touched my heart. That was a problem for me. I knew I couldn't take that mother and child home because I had my own, I had my own life and I had my own family that I had to focus on and be, and truly, truly worry about, and the safety of my own family also. But that just made me double up more blankets, more jackets, more coats, more socks, gloves, things like that, just to make sure that those children and those mothers had, some type of warmth. And I would just pray that hopefully they were able to get a bed. Maybe somebody would come out so they could go in, or just I don't know. So, your reputation at home. So when it says at home, I don't know if they mean my house or back home. Where I'm from. I'm not sure. I'll answer both. My reputation in the house, I am the screamer. I am the disciplinarian. I am I'm the funny one. I bring a lot of humor to the house. Everything is funny to me. Everything is just like hilarious. I'm the cleaner, the doer, the whatever. I'm all of those things. I am. Back home where I'm from, Omaha, Nebraska, I can honestly say that my reputation there, I don't think it's bad. I think it's pretty good. I think I have a lot more friends than I ever have enemies or anything like that. I don't think I have any enemies. I don't think so. But that's just me not thinking so, because I don't know. But I will say, if there is anybody that that has an issue with me or anything like that, you won, because I do not hold guilt. I don't hold hurt. I don't hold animosity. I don't hold anything like that in my heart. My body too small. I can't. So I can't hold those kind of things in my heart. So you absolutely won, and I apologize to you if there's ever anything that I have done that made you feel some kind of way about me. Period. That's it. A mistake or failure you learned from. A mistake or failure that you learned from. It would be dropping out of school. Dropping out of school, although I obtained my GED, dropping out of school was very, very hard and very tough for me, because all I had to do as a teenager was, all I was asked to do was just be a child. That's it. Mama said, be a kid and get your work done and do what you needed to do. But there were so many other things that I wanted to do, like my son's dad. And just growing up too fast and doing things that you shouldn't have done and all of that. While I am blessed to have my GED, I know for sure I had what it takes to obtain a high school diploma. So I regret not walking across that stage with my North High class of 1991, because there was no reason that I should not have. I obtained my GED the same exact year my class graduated. So I totally could have done what I needed to do. Oh, and I also regret not going into the military. I truly wanted to go into the military. Both my parents were military, and I feel like that was something that I always wanted to do, and I just didn't because I became a mom. Child, they asked me how you spent your time after school. At that boy's house. Don't listen to that. How your birth order affected you. Now that's a weird one. That's a really, really weird one. How the order in which you are born, how did that affect you? I am my biological mother's only child. I am my biological father's second to the last child. However, I just found my biological father last year. So the father that I thought was my father, I am his fourth oldest. Four. And then there is two under me. So I was kind of in the middle there somewhere, but I always felt different. I always felt like I was kind of like the black sheep, period. I was raised by his family, and I just kind of felt like I just kind of existed in his world. I didn't know for sure if that was the case. He passed away and couldn't ask the questions, but he was military. So everything he did was, so I just kind of felt like I was just kind of in there somewhere. But I didn't really have a space, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have a space to kind of call mine. So I was just in there. Being my biological mother's only child, I think that birth order probably affected me the most because I was the only. So being the only, but yet not being raised by her, it makes you feel a little left out. It does. Although my mom that raised me, which is the one who passed away in June, I was her second. She had a son. I was her second. And I felt just as important as her oldest child. So I thought that was pretty awesome. That it doesn't have to be blood to love you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it absolutely does not. Like, blood couldn't have made any of us any closer. And I'm so thankful for that. So my birth order didn't even matter because God had a whole plan for me. Let me see. One of the happiest times of your life. One of the happiest times of my life was last year when I found my father. I know some people like, oh, the birth of my kids, the this, that, and the other. No, honey, I had C-sections. They hurt. Finding my father after 40 years of living on this earth. 39 years. 39 years of living on this earth. Ancestry.com and 23andme.com definitely helped me to be able to gain the knowledge that I needed to be able to find him. So I always kind of knew I was different. I always kind of knew that there was someone else out there that shared my face, my long face and my long arms and all that kind of stuff, but I just didn't know for sure, and I didn't know where to look. But I'm so thankful that I did those things because all roads led to him, and I'm very appreciative of that. I think that all children need to know their family, their mothers, fathers, their just family, period, because family is extremely important, and every child in this world wants to know who he or she looks like. Okay, I think it's very important. I know that some parents feel like they are doing their children a favor or helping them by keeping them from certain things, but you're not, because if that child really wants to find him or her, they absolutely will. But you got to be careful, because sometimes it could be a little bit of regret on that parent that kept them away in the process, because you knew and you could have helped, and I wouldn't have had to go through certain things that I've gone through had you just told me that this person existed in my life. So got to think about those kind of things too. All moms ain't doing the right thing. Okay. An important turning point in your life. Get married. Getting married was a very, very important turning point in my life because all the things that I'd wanted, all the things that I'd longed for and hoped for and felt like I needed and all of that, it came once I got married. Getting married was so needed and so necessary for a person like me. Having that kind of secure love was so important for someone like me because I knew what I had to bring to the table. I knew what I had to offer. So it was just about finding someone that had those same qualities and those same amazing things, because I think my things were amazing. My shit was definitely amazing. But finding someone that could love me on that same level and higher. Oh my God, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So it was a huge turning point in my life. Definitely an eye opener. Definitely something that I would do a million times over again. And I have dated some amazing guys, but when I tell you that this by far, my marriage by far, we celebrated 5 years. We've been together for 7, but we have celebrated 5 years this year. And it just keeps getting better. I can honestly say, and not even better in big ways. It's not even about things and all that kind of stuff. It's about a connection. It's about appreciation, respect. It's so simple. It's so simple. I be wondering how people get it messed up. I be wondering how people get it hard. And don't get me wrong, we haven't hit 10 and 20 or 10 and 15 and 20 and all that kind of stuff. But if we keep going on the same path that we're going on now, understanding each other, accepting each other when things fall, when things fall to the wayside, not leaving them down there, going back to pick those things up, and let's build it together, honey. We just like Legos. Child, you knock our shit down, we're just gonna build it back up. We might build it in a different space, different place, but we building it back up. And I think that's amazing. He respects my place, my space, things that I love, things that I want, things that I appreciate. I do the same for him. And I think that we both could not have met each other at a greater time in our lives. I think that everything happened when it was supposed to happen, because when I think back years ago, when we're telling stories on where we used to be and where we used to go, we totally could have been in the same space with one another, but it wasn't our time to meet. Because he might have got on my nerves back then. See, he don't get on my nerves now. Well, he do, but it's a different kind of. I love him get on my nerves now, But back then, he may not have been, who he is, who I needed him to be, and I may not have been who he needed me to be. So I think everything happens absolutely for a reason. No regret. So that was probably one of the best things that could have ever happened to my life. Well, just dealing with things from how your past can shape your future is super. I threw the ball back because I was done with the ball, but how your past can shape your future, it is absolutely unreal. When you come from certain things in life, it makes you forget about how you sometimes really need to conduct yourself, or really need to act and speak to people. And, you talk to people instead of talking at people. You respect people instead of disrespecting people. You embrace people instead of pushing people away. Sometimes you can only do what you are used to and what you've grown accustomed to. And I wanted to make sure that I was not that person in my marriage. I wanted to make sure I was not that person in my family, because I wanted them to see, like, mom was strong, mom was there, mom was loyal, mom was appreciative. I want them to see those things. I didn't see a lot of those things growing up. I'll never point the finger. Sometimes people can only give you what they have. Sometimes people can only do that. When I tell you that my father that raised me, when I tell you that he was very, very militant, he could only give you what he knew. He gave you military every single time. I never knew if there was ever a time that he was off of, he was never off work. He was always on, always on. And growing up, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And I knew that there was so much more inside of him, but he just didn't have it to give to us. But if we needed the important things, he was there for the important things. He was there to be that role, that strict role model, that he was that person. I'm gonna call you dad. He was that. And there was just a more loving side of him that I wished I got a chance to see growing up, and not in his last days. I wanted to see this all throughout my childhood, which would have been important. But I could have allowed those things to shape who I was, shape who I'd become. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that at all. But there was a discipline about him. There was a level of respect about him. There was a presence about him that just commanded attention. And I always admired that about him. I always thought that was very, very amazing that one person can come into the room and everything shift just because of their presence. Before they even say a word, you automatically sit up as if you know that that person is bringing goodness into this area or bringing structure to this area. You know, that's just kind of how he was. So I also appreciate that about him. My mother that raised me, mom was very, very strict. She always had something to say. Her delivery was always shitty. So she always had something to say in a crazy way, but you got it. You absolutely got it. So we bumped heads on a lot of things. We went back and forth about a lot of things, but ultimately I live my life every single day off the things that she taught me, off the things that she told me. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some things that mama taught me and showed me that I left that shit right where it was at. But there's also some things that mama taught me and showed me that I would be a fool not to take throughout this life with me, because those things were just that amazing. Those little nuggets and gems that she dropped along the way. I had no idea that she would be leaving me so soon and couldn't drop more. But she gave me 40 years of them, so I can do those same things and repeat some of those same things with my own children. My biological mother, there's also, they can only give you what they got. My mother is very intelligent. She's one of the smartest people I know, with the most beautiful handwriting. I used to sit back and try to mimic her handwriting when she would write me a birthday card or a letter or something like that. She has a discernment where she just pays attention to the things that no one else is paying attention to. She's always in the background paying attention to all those other things that some people overlook and don't take seriously. She's always like that. She had a hard life growing up. She dealt with a lot growing up. She dealt with a lot. She dealt with addiction. She dealt with abuse. She dealt with so many different things that she has now overcome, that she didn't have those things to give to me when she had me, because she was still trying to get her together and do some things for her. And that's why I said God is so good, because he gives you what you need, not what you want. So he gave me the home that I needed. It may not have been the home that I wanted at the time. Of course, everybody probably would have wanted to be with their mom, but he gave me something that I needed, which was a woman who was an angel in disguise, actually. You know what I'm saying? She was an angel in disguise, and she took me in and she cared for me for 40 years. She's been my mom. She's been mama for 40 years without ever discrediting my biological mom. She never did. That to me is an amazing person. So, you know, my hat goes off to both moms and my father that raised me. Now, my biological father that I just met, when I tell you, meeting someone and understanding who you are, it's crazy. So not only do I look like him, okay, now I also understand where the long face comes from, but not only do I look like him, mannerism, humor, personality, you know what I'm saying? All of that kind of stuff, you know, kind of stand in the back, pay attention to what's going on, know everything, you know what I'm saying? Good with his hands, has an amazing heart, loves, you know what I'm saying? Family is important. Hello. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's so dope to have met this person at this late stage in my life. Now, all I want God to do now is keep him in this world, keep me and him in this world long enough, on this earth long enough to be able to continue to make memories and love one another and appreciate one another and all of that. But if God took away everything from me right now, I thank him for as far as he's gotten me to today. That's just me. So don't allow certain things to shape your future and where you are trying to go. If you know in your heart that those things don't mean you any good, if you know in your heart that you didn't like the way some of those things made you feel when you was younger, don't repeat it. Don't repeat it. If you don't like it, don't do it. If you don't feel it, don't say it. If you don't want it, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, just don't. Absolutely don't. So I was able to pick and choose some of the things that I would take throughout life with me from each and every last one of my parents, each and every last one of them. God was so amazing. You see how God took me back to the beginning? God made me do life so backward. It was so crazy. He'd given me a family to raise me, all for me to now only have the two people that I started with from the very beginning, biological mom, biological dad. So when I tell you this road has been so It's been wonderful. Even with ups, downs, disappointments, heartaches, heartbreaks, all that kind of stuff, it has been wonderful. And the reason why I can honestly say that it's been wonderful is because I did not allow those things to shape who I was trying to become. I allowed all of those things to just like to act as fuel. Honey, it's like lighter fluid. That's it. I just needed those things to fuel the fire that was already inside of me. So I get a chance to see where my strength comes from. I get a chance to see where my compassion comes from, my humor comes from, my loyalty comes from, my determination, my hard work, my creativity. I get a chance to see all of these things just kind of play out. I've watched these things over the years, where it come from. I've seen it. Being organized, being, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's that militant. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so crazy how these things can happen. And I thank God for every single step along the way. So that's what I want you guys to do. Just worry about shaping how your life is today. Don't worry about the things from your past. Don't allow those things. Allow the goodness. Don't allow bad things to come in and kind of shake you up. That's not what you want to do. Allow goodness to come in and just flourish. Allow those things to just catch on like fire. And before you know it, you are helping others. You are blessing others. You are doing things in an amazing way where other people are just like, wow. You know, I always wanted people to sit back and be like, wow, Alicia, like, are you serious? Really? And that's what I wanted. And that was on purpose. So I live my life on purpose so I can help and love and care and you know, and just be there for other people. That's just kind of who I am. I've always been that way. I thank you guys for tuning in. I'm always coming back. Click subscribe so you don't miss any of this. I appreciate you all. I'm your niche coach. And in the meantime, get your shit together. I'm always here.